Hello, hello, everyone. Hey, Dreamer. So, yep, I am live finally. And honestly, I didn't even really feel like doing it tonight, but it's been a few weeks, so I pretty much had to. But I've been kind of busy all day today, running the buffer on the car. I got about half of it done. So, because whoever had the car, that van that I got before us or before Paul and I, whoever had that van, had kids. It was definitely a mom's grocery getter. Nice luxury mom's grocery getter, but mom's grocery getter nonetheless. I'm still finding Matchbox cars in cracks and crevices that I never thought people could put Matchbox cars in. Um, I mean, every bit of evidence of just kids that just had a heyday in the inside of that van. And on the outside, looks like the kids played out in the yard with it too, and they had it parked outside because there was little drawings all over the side of the van from a rock or rocks, little scribbles and drawings and everything else all over the side of it. So I've been out there with a buffer and some cutting compound and a little bit of elbow grease and buffing out scratches today. Yeah, isn't that cool? I love the lights on the inside of my van. I really do. Hello, Diamonds and Dew, or Lee K. Yeah, I love my light setup. And I don't know that I even showed the floor lights in there, but I've got under dash lights that light up the floorboards in the front. And I also have another pair underneath of the front front passenger and driver seats so that at least the first back floorboard actually has some lightning to it. And these are chaser lights or programmable strips. So I can program them to do like a rainbow sweeping across or um, like intermittently flashing, like the two outsides being one shade of blue and the inside being purple and then alternating back and forth like that, or, just all kinds of neat little things that I can program it to do. And, and then you can also download ones that other people have done too. So different like lighting schemes for your under dash and everything. And I'm still learning that one and playing around with it. But right now I just have it doing like a medium speed rainbow sweep that pretty much matches with any 4/4 beat, which is pretty much most modern music is done in a 4/4 beat. Um, so it just kind of that rainbow sweep bounces across at like a 4/4 rhythm, and it's really neat. Yeah, yeah, I installed the ceiling lights is just little it's a little disco ball thing you just plug into a USB port and turn on. Um, and it mounts on this little, mount that you can adjust the angle and all that of it. And so I just kind of it's supposed to use a suction cup mount, but that leather center console is got, leather texture to it. So suction cup won't stick to it. So I just used Gorilla Tape and stuck it down there and plugged it in. I've got the USB plug is actually inside the center console, and there's like a little tunnel there that the wire can go down into the center console, so I can hide all the wire except for just what's needing to come out to come to the thing. So that's pretty cool. And then the floor lights or the yeah, the floor lights, that's what I'll call them. They actually came as a complete set, all pre-wired and everything. All you gotta do is just plug them into a light socket or a lighter socket, a lighter port, and then you just use the 3M tape that's on the back, the 3M adhesive, and just stick them where they need to go. And of course, under the seats, they're fabric covers underneath the seats. So I just poked holes with a knife and zip tied them up under there so they won't go anywhere. And then you just hide the wires inside your trim work and stuff. You just stuff it under your trim work and everything to hide all the excess wiring and everything. So yeah, looks pretty good. Looks almost professionally done. Yes, it is. Hurry back, hurry back, Lee. Um, yes, it is very much legal for me to drive with it on. I pass by cops every single night with them on. And I've actually had a couple of them be like, man, that is like really cool. As long as it's not on the dash projecting outward like a dash light would be, then you're good. But because it's sitting on my center console and aimed at the ceiling. So any light that is seen from the outside, you can easily tell that it's not a cop light or it's not you trying to impersonate an officer. Um, and because it's behind me and on the ceiling, it's not interfering with my ability to drive the vehicle. But yeah, the kids love it, man. The kids absolutely love it. I can go down my tips right now and look at them on the app, and where they used to be, a dollar, $2, and not very many tips. Now it's like almost every single passenger tips, and most of them are well more than a dollar. Some are still a dollar. Like the last two that I got from last night, because they're still coming in. I got a dollar, three, 7.73, $5, $5, $4.35, $5, $1, $3, $5, $1, $3, $5, $3, $3.49, $1, $5, $1, $5, $6.68, $1, $1, $7.13, $1, $3, $3. And if I go all the way back to like the first night I had the lights, I got a $20 tip on a $5 ride. Hey, Michelle. Long time no see. So, y'all, it has been 3 weeks since the last time I was live. Of course, I missed the first weekend because it was the Super Bowl, which I kind of saw that one coming. Didn't want it to turn out that way, but uh, the skinny blonde won the football game. That's pretty much what happened. Um, that was already in the books to happen. Um, Not much more to say about that one. By next season, they'll be broke up. She'll have a whiny song about him, and then maybe football will play out the way it's supposed to play out. But yeah, that was the Super Bowl, and then I went out immediately as soon as the game ended. There was a huge surge in town for all of the Super Bowl parties and stuff. People were leaving, so as soon as that game ended, I didn't even watch the post game thing with them handing out the trophies and all that because I flipped the app on and the whole town was lit up bright red with surges. So Paul and I both ran out the door and picked up some extra money there, and been doing really, really good with Uber. This week was actually this week was not bad considering that I took a night off. Um, this past week has been kind of nuts and hectic and everything all rolled into one. So last Sunday I didn't go live because I felt sick. For good reason. I was really sick, and I woke up Monday morning and I was still really sick, and I called into work and I said, "Look, whatever y'all had last week, I've got it, and I this sucks." And the boss texted back and said, "Well, you have to go to the doctor." And I'm like, "No problem. I was going to go anyway." Um, and it takes an awful lot to make me say I'm going to go to the doctor. So I had to be pretty sick, and I went to urgent care and sat down. The guy triaged me, took my blood pressure, took all the vitals and everything. And he said, "So you're complaining about an illness." He said, "So the first thing I've got to do is 2 swabs on the nose." He said, "One is for flu and one is for COVID." I said, "Yeah, go right ahead." Figured it was just the flu because I figured it was strep because uh, the original one that got everybody else sick at work was diagnosed with strep. So I kind of figured that's what I had. And they put me in the room and made me sit there and wait for the doctor to come in. And the doctor walked in and she says, "This was quick and easy. You got COVID. You're out of work 5 days. Here's some Paxlovid. Go to the pharmacy and fill it." Okay. So I was out of work all week. Saturday was the day that I was allowed to return to my job. But of course, we don't work Saturdays. So all the girls cleared out my schedule and everything for last week that I had scheduled. And some other people ran some of the stuff that needed run. And they rescheduled what they could for me for this upcoming week. And that way we at least get my route done this month. Yeah, it was COVID, Dreamer. And so, yeah, I was really bad Monday and Tuesday. They gave me the Paxlovid Monday and I started taking it then. And they say that within a day or two, you usually start feeling better. By Wednesday, I was back to 100%. I was like, man, I'm ready to go. I had more sleep in the past 2 days than I had total in the last 3 weeks. So, I mean, it was nice getting to relax those couple of days that I was sick, and I was able to get some sleep, but man, Wednesday morning, I woke up, I had no more sniffles, no more nothing. I didn't feel sick. I was like, "I'm ready to go." Well, fortunately, it was just in time because a concert that I had tickets for was that night. So Wednesday night, I ended up going to see Steel Panther and a local Birmingham band called the Velcro Pygmies, and that was a killer show. Just drove down to Birmingham for that one, and got back in town a little too late to really do much on Uber Wednesday night. But Wednesday night's never really busy here anyway. I was gonna try to maybe catch some rides out of that concert, but it wasn't that big of a crowd. Like the venue only hold like 1,500 people, so um, wasn't really gonna do me much good to try to get any rides out of there in Birmingham. So I came back to Tuscaloosa and came home and just relaxed that night because I knew I was gonna be doing Uber Thursday night. But while I was in Birmingham to see the Pygmies and Steel Panther, um, the guy I was in line in front of, we were talking about different bands we had seen, and I was telling him about this band in Minnesota that I used to go see all the time called Hairball, and he's like, "Hairball?" He's like, "Really, man? They're coming to Huntsville Friday night." And I'm like, "Really?" I've been begging these guys on their Facebook page for like 3 years. "Please come to Alabama. I miss seeing y'all, and I don't wanna drive 20 hours to come to North Dakota for it," you know? And, finally, their first time coming to Alabama. So, as soon as I found out about that, I came home. I was like, "Yep, I've got to go Friday night. I'm going to Huntsville. I'm gonna go see Hairball again for like the 6th or 7th time, something like that." And, so sure enough, I went out and worked Thursday night, and I made good money Thursday night. It was busy. Made a lot more than I expected. And, so I didn't feel so bad taking the night off Friday night. And I drove 3 hours up to Huntsville, saw the concert. I was gonna drive in Huntsville. They had a hockey game and, um, the Hairball concert, but the hockey game let out before the concert did, and when the concert let out, everybody that came to that pretty much was able to drive themselves. I was gonna go ahead and just try to stay in Huntsville and just work there all night in the bar district or whatever. I stayed there an hour and a half with the app on. There were Ubers parked everywhere, not a single one of them moving, and not a single ride request in an hour and a half. And I thought, man, this is nuts. Like Alabama's most populated city, Huntsville, and not a single ride on Bar District on, Friday night at 11:30, 12 o'clock. That's odd. So I ended up driving 3 hours back to Tuscaloosa, got home at like 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning, went to bed, got up yesterday morning, and I drove, started about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, um, and I drove straight through until about 3:30 this morning, and, phew, made a killing, like a lot more than I planned on making. In fact, the last time I had looked at the app to see what I was at for the night so far, I was at 400. I had just crossed over 400, and I was like, "Wow, that's more than I thought I was gonna make today." And I drove for what seemed like another hour and a half, and I didn't think I'd made that much. I'd only done a few rides, and when the rides finally stopped and I was able to get home without getting a ride, that's when I shut it off, and I looked it up, and I was like, "You gotta be kidding me, 500." I was hoping for 15 more dollars to make it an even 550, but 535 for one night in Tuscaloosa is not bad at all. So that more than made up for missing Friday night. Paul was here most of the week. I know, we're supposed to quarantine with COVID, and I'm not supposed to go to concerts and all that, but you know what? The first concert I already had tickets for, I was not letting them go to waste, or I only had one ticket. Um, I was not letting that go to waste, and then the second one was a concert I had been waiting nearly 4 years for, since 2020, when I moved here. Uh, in fact, it's probably been 4 years since the last time I saw them, because it was last time I saw them was, I wanna say somewhere right before Christmas, or right in bet I think it's in between Christmas and New Year's is the time that they always come and play Grand Forks. So it was, like, right in between Christmas and New Year's of 2019, 2020, was the last time I had seen Hairball. So, um, it had been 4 years in the making on that concert, so there was no way in the world I was gonna let anything, unless I was on my deathbed, I was gonna be at that show. Now, I was on the Paxlovid antiviral, and I had no symptoms anymore. Um, so the antiviral probably had already taken care of it at that point by day 4, and day 5 was the day that I actually went to the second concert. Day 3 was when I went to the well, yeah, day 3 of the Paxlovid was the first day that I had no symptoms anymore. So the way it was told to me was, once the symptoms subside, if you're on the Paxlovid, once the symptoms subside, then the Paxlovid has done its job and is doing its job by killing off the virus, so that you're good to go as long as you don't have the symptoms. So that's the way I was told. Because I was praying I wouldn't have the symptoms anymore on Wednesday, because I wanted to go to that show, and if I did have them, I might have missed it. I might have thought better of it, but because there was not even a sniffle, I was like, I'm not a sniffle, not a fever, not nothing. So I was like, I'm gonna go ahead and go. Yeah, but they don't even test that way anymore, Sherry. At least not here. You go to the doctor now. They give you a COVID test. They say, "Yep, you got COVID. Here's Paxlovid. You take two rounds of pills every day for 5 days, and the end of day 5, go back to work." And that's it. That's all they do now for it. It's pretty much treated like the flu nowadays. It's gotten to be that simple. So yeah, they don't even do a second test. They just say, "Up, you're out of work for 5 days. Take this for 5 days. Have a good life. If you have any worse symptoms, or things get worse, or you have any side effects from the Paxlovid, make sure you come see us." Oh, I know that I know the technicality of it. I just know that, the doctor's office just basically says, "Yeah." Mm, mm. I've had this thing covered for 3 weeks, and it's still got cat hair on it. I don't understand it. I do not understand it. How do I still have cat hair when it's been covered for 3 weeks with parchment paper? Hello, Terry. But either way, if y'all are friends with me on Facebook, uh, I made several posts this week with the pictures and videos that I took at both shows, and they were just phenomenal shows. Hairball, I mean, always is a good show. I mean, you're never going to get a bad show going to see them. They have changed their lineup a bit. One of their lead singers that used to do several of the characters appears to have left and gone on to his own, basically competing band that does the same thing Hairball does. Only he's the only lead singer, but he's like one of the world's best like artist impersonators or something. So he used to be with Hairball. He did quite a few of the different impersonations, and he left. And it looks like that the other guy that used to do like the Ozzy impersonation, and he used to do uh, Guns N' Roses and Van Halen. He looks like he retired, and he's kind of living the retired motorcycler life. And so they got one new lead singer that came in that kind of has taken over some of those roles. Um, and it's different, but it's not so bad. Now they only got 3 lead singers. Hello, Marie. I am good. Thank you. I'm feeling great. Go back to work tomorrow for the first time in a week. But it was all PTO the whole time I was off, so I was getting paid to be at home anyway for 5 days, and on top of that, I was still going out and making Uber money this weekend. I'm doing a little double dipping there. So, yeah, the only thing missing the time from work actually hurt was I have one account that I do I normally do it on a Saturday, and I only do it once every 3 months, and it's 66 houses in one big loop development. So there's like, half around the outside loop, and then you come right back around and do the same loop again, but you do the inside of the loop, and you finish up, you got 66 houses done. I can do them all in one day, a good 8-hour day. I was supposed to do them on the 17th, and I woke up that morning and it was frigid cold and the wind was blowing and it was cloudy. And I thought, there ain't no way I'm going to go do a whole 8-hour day outdoors in this. And the temperature wasn't supposed to get above like 43 or 44 that day. I was like, there's no way I'm going to go do 66 houses outdoors all day today for 8 hours. No, I'll just put it off till next weekend, which would have been this coming weekend, this weekend that we just got through. So I said, I'm going to put it off until this weekend. And then, of course, Sunday I came up sick. So it was like, well, so what they did was they ended up giving that to a new guy that I just finished training. He hadn't taken over a route yet, but they didn't want to set him loose on his own doing inside and out, but this whole development is all outside only. So they ended up giving him that one, which kind of hurt because I didn't depend on that extra money, but that was $3,500 worth of production that I was going to get a quarter of that, I missed out on. Because I told them, hey, I'll go do it Saturday. I can come back to work Saturday. I'll go do it Saturday. And they said, no, we're just going to give it to the new guy. Okay. Yeah. I mean, it didn't hurt my paycheck. It didn't hurt my normal paycheck, but it just took away that extra that I always kind of looked forward to every third month. But hey, you know what? The new guy, he's getting a good start paycheck. There you go. I kind of wish I'd had that extra boost when I first started too. No. It doesn't mean I lose the route. I'll still get my route back. I mean, I'm still assigned to that route. It's just that during my time out, some people had to fill, at least obviously, because it wasn't going to get done completely if, they didn't get somebody to run some of those stops for me. And the ones that they couldn't get run by somebody else, they went ahead and scheduled for this upcoming week for me. So my route will get done. There'll probably be a few skips, but that's probably can't be avoided. You usually, pretty much always going to have a skip or two, not much. I mean, they don't want much more than that. But like some of them are just balances. People owe a balance and we can't get a hold of them or whatever. We just can't do their house because they owe a balance. And so by the end of the month, if you can't get a hold of them, you got to skip them, and not much you can do about that one. It's not really held against you, not against me anyway. I've done what I've had to do. I've tried to reach out. I've tried to get a hold of them, and I've documented it so that way everybody knows that I have. So yeah, I don't lose the route because now come March, well, actually probably right now, if I went and looked at the app, I probably could see a bunch of March stops already added. All of my March tickets are probably already generated. So that means starting tomorrow, I got to start calling to set up appointments for March for at least the first, few days or so that I can stay 3 days ahead on my scheduling, which I never, ever am anyway. Oh, yeah, I'm feeling a whole lot better, Dawn Marie. I think you missed the beginning there where by Wednesday I felt 100% again, and I went to a concert in Birmingham Wednesday night and then found out that the band that I've been waiting 4 years to see come down here was coming down here and on Friday night. So I ended up buying a ticket and going to Huntsville Friday night to go see them too. Michelle, Hank is doing awesome. He is just being Hank. And Arya is becoming like the sweetest little cat ever. Like all on her own, she's just being super sweet and nice and wonderful. And it's not like her because she normally like stays hidden under the bed and doesn't want you touching her or being near her. And now she comes to you wanting attention, which is odd for her. She never used to do that. Where is Hank? Hank, where are you? There's Arya. Hey, Arya. Come here, baby. Come here. Arya's standing in the hallway looking at me like, I don't know if I want to come out there or not because he's talking to himself. Um, Here she comes. Nope, she's going to go hide behind the box. I've got a. Come here, baby. Come here. Come here. Yeah. It's just me. Just me. Nobody else here. I'm talking to myself. Yeah, I know. There's a box that an air mattress came in that's got Paul's old air mattress in it and folded up, and it's sitting there in front of my amp, but it's like the box lid width away from the amp, and the lid is hanging over to the top of my guitar amp over there. And she likes to go hide between the guitar amp and this box underneath of the where the lid is folded over on top of the amp. And that's where she kind of hangs out. Yeah, she'd be a good girl. Come here. Come on. Here are you? Hank's like, if Arya ain't coming over there, I will. Yeah, there you are, buddy. Come here. No, come here. I know. I keep telling you not to get in my chair, but now I'm trying to pick you up and put you there. And I just got done picking cat hair off here, and I put you up here. Hey, thank you. Hi. Yeah, go ahead. Rub your face on the mic. There, that's a good boy. That's good, Hank. That's now he's going to sit over behind the camera, like over here, where you can't see him. Come here, Arya. Come here. Come here. Yeah, I hear you. Not you, Hank. I wasn't calling you. I wasn't calling you. Hi. Here, Hank. Hank. No. Okay. Yeah, you don't like stepping on the sticky stuff, huh? Okay, hop down. Yeah, Arya's just sitting there looking at me. She's not moving. She's looking at me and she kind of like meows weakly. Come here, Arya. Come here. Come and see me. Not you, Hank. Gosh, I'm telling you, Hank. All right. Now, how much cat hair do I have to pick off? No, get your claws out of this chair. He doesn't realize that this chair isn't like my other cloth chair, that this is one of those like leather gaming chairs. And he's already putting claw marks on the side of the seat over here where he puts his paws up on the side and then digs his claws in and stretches. I have sprayed stuff on these chairs that's supposed to keep cats away, and it ain't working. I'll grab it real quick and I'll show you what it is. It's called Keep Off Cat and Kitten Repellent. It stinks. It's some kind of like methyl ethyl ketone and related compounds, and 98% other ingredients. I guess it's some kind of I thought it was like some kind of like essential oil stuff, but it does not work. Spray the object lightly with product until slightly moistened. And we didn't even spray it lightly. Paul got a hold of it and sprayed his chair down because he really doesn't want Hank in his chair. And we sprayed his down. We doused it, soaked it down with this stuff, and let it dry. And Hank still just next day I came home and Hank's laying up, curled up in the chair. No, it don't work. Don't buy it. It's broke. But see, that's the thing. I don't want to cover up this gaming chair. That's that problem is, it's just that Hank has been free to jump in the chair forever since I've had him. I mean, I haven't had a chair that he could mess up really badly. And now I've got this, this leather gaming chair, and I got got these. See, man, everything is cloudy. Why is my screen so cloudy? Let me find a napkin and some Windex. There. Yeah, now I can rip. There we go. Much better. It's not cloudy anymore. Yeah, that stuff is, I don't know what it is. It stinks. I mean, you spray it and you can smell it all through the house. It's just ugh. It's a sickening. I'll tell you the smell it reminds me of. It reminds me of whatever the disinfectant they used in school when a kid threw up in the hallway. That's what it smells like. Like, it smells like somebody puked in the hallway at school and the janitor cleaned it up with whatever disinfectant they use, and it's ugh. That's exactly what it smells like all through your house. For like the first couple of hours after you spray that stuff on one piece of furniture. Yeah, I don't know what else to do, Don Marie. I really don't. I mean, I really don't know what else to do. I mean, well, when I start streaming on Twitch eventually, um, I've really found my inspiration on that one now. This guy is if y'all ain't got a chance to watch the YouTube shorts of a guy called Grandpa Gaming. Oh my lord, he is so funny. This guy is like 70 some years old, and he streams sometimes 6, 8, 10 hours a day playing like Battlefield 2042 and PUBG. I mean, all of those first person shooter games. And this guy he's an ex Navy diver, and he's a World War II veteran. He was injured to the point where if he sits still long enough, his fingertips go numb. And so he's trying to play a computer game where he uses the WASD keys to move. And he has to keep constantly looking at his hand to figure out if it's still in the spot where it's supposed to be. But this guy is like one of the best video game snipers I have ever seen. Like, he knows how the weapon is supposed to work in real life, and he's figured out how to make it work the way it does in the game. And this guy is picking off headshots on people that you can't even see, that the normal average person playing the game would never see, even when looking through the scope. And every time he picks somebody off, he laughs. It's so funny. This guy like gets in there and talks like mad smack at people and stuff. So Grandpa Gamer is now my inspiration. My Twitch handle is already set up. The channel is already set up. I've just got to start streaming. But now where do I find the time to do that? Okay. I work 5 days a week at Stark. I don't get off till around 5 every day. Um Usually Monday through Wednesday I've got like errands I've got to run in the afternoon. Usually it's stuff to get the car ready for the next, the second half of the week when I'm going to be driving it to use, for Uber. So when do I do that? And then Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I'm driving for Uber, and I come home from work at 5 o'clock, 4:30, 5 o'clock. Just basically swap my clothes out, hop right back, hop out of the company truck, hop right into the van, and I go do Uber until 3 o'clock in the morning. Come home, get a couple hours of sleep, get up, go to work at Stark all day, come back home, drive until 3:30 the next morning, get up and do it all over again. I mean, I do that Thursday and Friday, and then Saturday I'm up and driving around noon, 1 o'clock if it's a nice day, because they'll have, all the kids will have darties. And this week was parents' week for a lot of the frats and sororities. So there was a lot of parents in town, a lot of darties, a lot of parties on Saturday, especially. Yeah, I know, Domry. I didn't try to. I was just trying to make sure that y'all could still see me, because it looked like the glasses was a little dirty. So, and then I drive Saturday night until like 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning and get home. And then I end up sleeping like half a Sunday because, I'm worn out. Um, I get up at this morning I got woke up. Okay, interesting one this morning. I got home like 3:30, couldn't get to sleep right away. Didn't fall asleep. I was sitting here just kind of watching YouTube, and actually, no, I was going through some of the videos from Hairball on Friday night. And I fell asleep here in the chair at like 7. 8 o'clock, I hear a pounding on my door, wakes me up. And I hear a guy say, "Police department." And I'm like, what the hell does the police department want? Um, I got up and answered the door, and cops out there. He says, "Hi, are you Mr. Lochner?" I'm like, "Yes, sir." He says, "I was sent by to do a welfare check on you. Somebody called our office and wanted us to come and do a welfare check." And I said, "I'm fine." I said, "I just got home from doing Uber all night." I said, "You kind of woke me up." He's like, "Oh, I'm sorry about that. You can go ahead and go back to sleep. That's all I need to know." Now I can't go back to sleep because now I'm sitting there, my brain's going nuts. Who in the world called for a freaking welfare check on me? Anybody that cared enough about me to do that has either seen one of my Facebook posts in the past 3 or 4 days, or, you know, spoken with me in one way or another, either by text or by Facebook Messenger or whatever. So there shouldn't be any question in anybody's mind of, people that I'm close enough that would care that much to do that. And I don't know. I'm like, who in the world is it? So I couldn't figure it out. I texted Paul. I said, "Did you do it?" I said, "I don't know why you would, because you just were talking to me at, 3 o'clock this morning when you were driving back to Birmingham while I was getting done with Uber for the night. So it wouldn't be Paul. And I don't know who else would have done it." And so I was outside working on my car, and the girl that lives upstairs came down. And she goes, "Oh, you are alive." I'm like, "Yep, yep, yep. I'm alive." She goes, "You live right there in 5D?" I'm like, "Yeah, I live right underneath of you." She says, "Oh, Okay, well, I hadn't seen you in like a week, and that paper that they put out, that the apartments put out on your little clip there, you never took it in the house or anything. So I called the police and wanted to make sure you were okay. My upstairs neighbor, who I've only ever just kind of spoken to in passing, I didn't even know her name until today. Um, they moved in. I remember the day they moved in. Um, it was a guy from Washington State because his mom introduced herself to me when I got out of the truck from work. She goes, "Hi, I'm your upstairs neighbor's mom. We're helping him move in today." I'm like, "Oh, good. Hi, good to meet you." And that was it, and I've seen this girl come and go, but never really said much more than, "Hey, how you doing?" on the way out the door or whatever. And I didn't know my neighbor cared that much, I guess. So we just sat out there while I was working on my car and just had a conversation. She seems like a nice person. I think she's a college student here, I think. Make sure it's all sticky. Okay. Oh, oh, I found something needs to get picked off. No, it wasn't Amber because I've been talking to Amber this week. Yeah, it just turned out to be the neighbor upstairs. But yeah, no, I already knew that it wasn't Amber because I had texted with her earlier this week and all week. So, and like I said, and I knew that anybody that I was close enough with that would give a shit enough to call on a welfare check for me, um, and know my address and everything, any of those people, I've either spoken to or seen them respond to one of my Facebook posts in the past 4 days. So I know that all of those people are accounted for as far as knowing my welfare. And because they can know what I've been doing, because I've either, talked to them through text or they've interacted with one of my Facebook posts. So I was at a loss until this afternoon when she came out and told me that. Well, it's nice to know I got neighbors that care, even though I didn't even know the names. Don Marie, I am still working on this Mermaid Cavern. Um, Twas the Night Before that I got at Christmas time that I started on in my um, Christmas premiere. I mean, I've got a good chunk of it done. Here, let me fold the camera up some so you can kind of see. I got a good chunk of it done down there. And it's beautiful. I mean, it's absolutely gorgeous. I mean, we're talking DAC quality here, okay? This is straight up DAC quality. Um, these here, right here, all that red right there, that shade is all ABs, all the way down into here and here, and all of this will be that red AB as well. Everything that's not done here. I mean, it's absolutely stunning, and the quality is DAC. I mean, it's if somebody were to cover up the logos on this, or just like cover up the borders and not show you who made it, and you wouldn't have the dead giveaway stuff of DAC stuff, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference between the DAC and this. And the drills, just, I mean, you're not going to get the DAC quality drills. They make their own, where these, still are, I think, shipped in from China. But I have had very little, if any, trash out of these drills. Um, Everything is fitting together perfectly. There's no little tabs on any of them or anything like that. So I can't complain. And the colors are vivid and stunning. I mean, they're not muted or off hue or anything. It's a really nice painting. I've got nothing but good to say about it. And it's a pleasure to work on. Really is. It I mean, the prices are about equal with DAC as well too. So I mean, it's not like you're getting DAC quality for cheaper or anything, but got the little music symbol. This is going to be a skin tone. Wait. There. Turn it so I'm so OCD about the thing being straight in the image in the picture. I don't know why. You probably just heard a weird spring noise come through my microphone there. I love this mic. I don't have to yell. Like the other mic, I used to have it sitting over there on the desk, and I feel like I'd have to yell for y'all to hear me. And I pretty much was like when I went live, and even when Amber was here, um, the mic was sensitive enough that it picked up, but for it to be clear and normal, we pretty much had to yell all the time while we were live. I'm talking in a lower than normal tone of voice right now. Like if I was sitting here talking to Paul in this tone of voice in the same room, he probably would have trouble hearing me. But this mic is also very directional. So if I turn it right now, you'll probably lose what I'm saying, and you probably won't pick it up very well until I turn the mic around and it's facing me again. See, like, let's see if we can do it again there. Okay. There we go. I got cat hair all over it again already. But yeah. See, like right now, it's got to be facing like this because I have to talk into the end of it in order for you to hear me. But then as soon as I turn the mic around and it faces the other way, it doesn't pick me up anymore. Or maybe it does very lightly. But as soon as I turn it back around again, you can hear me very well. And I never changed my whole tone of voice the whole time. I mean, I'm talking in a very, very low tone of voice. Which is probably good because those two concerts pretty much wrecked my voice this week. Try screaming hair metal at the top of your lungs for a total of 4 hours over 3 days. I love you too, Dawn Marie. I will try to have a blessed week. I will try to have a blessed week. It's my first week back to work, and they've got me lined up a lot. So it's going to be rough this week, but I'll make it through, just like I always do. I went and bought a pizza at the Standard. It's a new restaurant or a new pizza joint down on the strip. It's $30 for a pie, but it's a 20-inch pie. It's massive. It doesn't even fit in the box. And they throw so much. It's like New York style, so it's got that floppy crust on it. and they got threw so many damn toppings on the thing. It's just like it's ridiculous. It's a huge pizza. I mean, one slice is a damn meal. But it's like the best pizza in town. Yeah, well, I see that putting my link for the live into my Facebook page for the channel didn't really make much of a difference, even though every day I've been noticing my notifications saying that, I mean, in the past 2 days, 11 more people have liked my Facebook page for this channel. And I'm like, I'm used to maybe getting not that much at all, but it's like this past week, it's just been nonstop people liking that page, people following the page. And I'm like, wow, where did all this sudden interest come from? For one, um, because I haven't posted that link anywhere that I know of, but people are finding it in large masses at for some reason right now. So I figured, okay, I'll throw this live link into that page tonight and see what happens. Take advantage of that sudden influx of interest, and doesn't seem like anybody's interested in coming to the live. Oh, that's so good. The sun-kissed strawberry. Oh, yummy. Oh, I hear a Hank. Of course, now he's going to jump across from the TV stand to the desk, and he's going to land and then slide everything. Because that's what he does. Nope, he didn't this time. What do you want, Hank? Yeah, well, That's why you don't get up here, because there's really no place for Hank to be. Yeah. Maybe if one of these days I actually cleaned the desk off and made some extra space, then you would have a place to be. But right now I don't have that. So because I'm too damn lazy to clean my desk off. Oh, while I was up in Huntsville the other night on the way home, I stopped at Buc-ee's. I love Buc-ee's. Buc-ee's is like my favorite place on earth, other than okay, I don't know of another place that's not as good as Buc-ee's. But I went to Buc-ee's and I picked up, man, they have the coolest selection of hot sauces, and they're not expensive either. And I picked up some black garlic Carolina Reaper hot sauce. And this stuff is good. It's made from black garlic, Carolina Reapers, red serrano peppers, and maple syrup. And it says the world's hottest pepper, savory black garlic, and a hint of sweet maple. This hot sauce will shake you to your core. Now, I can kind of taste the garlic. If I get a little bit of this and put it on my tongue, like a little dab of it, you can initially taste a hint of garlic. There ain't no maple syrup flavor, because when that heat kicks in, that's all you catch is the peppers. You can taste the peppers and you can taste the garlic. And the slightest bit of vinegar that they used to, you know, they have to use vinegar to ferment it, because most hot sauces are fermented peppers. Hot sauce, which is what I'm going to make out of my 7-pot primos when I make those, or when I get those. I'm going to make fermented hot sauce with them, I think. Which they are growing very nicely. They're big enough now that I have transferred them into solo cups. And I'm waiting now for the roots to grow all the way down through to the bottom of the solo cups, basically just chasing the water as it evaporates out, I guess, or whatever. It'll chase all of those minerals and water. All the roots will grow all the way to the bottom. Once the roots get to the bottom of that, then I can transplant into a bigger, the final container that it's going to actually fruit in and everything. By then it should actually be a pretty decent sized bush. I've got to start giving it like some sort of plant food that tells it to start growing more branches and things. Oh, wow, Karen, congratulations. 6-hour road trip. Those are fun. I love road trips. I really do. I love road trips. I want to make one of these winters, and it sounds weird. Yeah, I want to do it in the winter. I want to drive to North Dakota. Um, it sounds so dumb, but I want to go see North Dakota hockey play. I want to make a trip up to Grand Forks and get some tickets to go see North Dakota hockey play a home game. Maybe even a two, because they always play 2 games on one Friday, one Saturday. Every weekend, it's a 2-game weekend during the season. And so I would make it worth the while, and I'd get tickets for both nights and drive up there, take a couple nights off, take a couple days off work or whatever, drive up there like Wednesday, get there like Thursday night, and get a hotel room and all, and then go to the game Friday and go to the game Saturday, and then like Saturday night start driving home, get home Sunday night, go to work Monday. Went to Traverse City, Michigan. Okay. I've been through there once. Probably more than once. But yeah, thank you, Karen. I love this painting. You came in just after I got done discussing it. It's Mermaid Cavern from Mermaid Cavern. It's a Mermaid Cavern painting, and you cannot tell the difference. I mean, if I was to blindfold you and hand you the canvas, you'd think I handed you a a, a DAC canvas. So, I mean, they're really really great quality, and I love it, and I'm really enjoying working on it. And they are beautiful paintings. The artwork is gorgeous. I mean, it's all original artwork. It's not, you know, so it's really really nice. This one here, Karen. Hey, Bev. It's okay. Better late than never. Um, this particular painting here has 65 colors, and it is a. Um, they're a lot like DAC. They don't have like, exact amounts. This one here is a 55 by 71.7 centimeters, or 21.7 by 28.2 inch. So 65 colors on basically what amounts to a 55 by 70 is it's pretty decent amount of colors and lots of detail. I'll flip it out again here so you can see it, what I have finished so far. Let me move my mic over here closer. Um, that's what I have finished so far, the whole bottom half here. Uh, this color red right here and there and up here and kind of comes to a point in there. That's all ABs. Those are all red ABs there. Um, and everything that's undone right here, this section here that's all red and not done, is all going to be those same ABs. Um, this blue here, and there's some mixed in here that are ABs. All of this blue right here is all ABs. This darker blue strip down through here is all ABs. Um, I know there's more ABs in this thing. Um, maybe there is only 3. I don't know. No, there's 5 ABs. There's a 550 AB, which is a purple. And I'm not exactly sure where those were used. I think they're down in here somewhere. Um, and then there's the 666 ABs, which is these reds. 820 ABs, which is the darker blue there and in there. 995 ABs, which are these blue ones over here. They're kind of a darker blue than these light blues here. And then all of these light blues are ABs. They're 996s. Karen, the name of the company is the Mermaid Cavern. The links, all of their links should be in the description for this video. Come on, there you go. Now move. How does it keep getting moved that much farther away? Like every time, I don't get it. There is some speculation with the artwork. Um, the the lady who owns the company, she had some hardships in life. She got into diamond painting to basically as a therapeutic thing and to help her through her grief of losing a child. And she enjoyed it. She got really addicted to it really quick. Um, and then decided that her and her husband do artwork. and they decided to like start their own diamond painting company. And the way she told it during T-Mall's live, when T-Mall was had her on there with her, was that she does the drawing and her husband does the coloring and shading. There has been speculation in the community, and I don't really care one way or the other because the artwork is still beautiful, that it's AI artwork. Um, if it is, who cares? It's beautiful. It's still gorgeous. It's still not. It's not stolen artwork. AI is not stolen artwork. Um, that's a common misconception in the AI world, is that AI is stolen artwork, but it really isn't. But it can't be copyrighted because it was not something that was manually done by a person drawing it and making it. It was done by a computer and generated. So who gets the copyright on that? Is it the company that made the computer? Is it the company that wrote the software? Is it the person that typed in the prompt? So that it just can't be copyrighted. AI, artificial intelligence, like, you see a lot of the pictures you see now on the internet are AI pictures. It's, don't believe everything you see because most of it is probably computer generated AI. Somebody typed in a prompt, generate, and I want to have an image of a purple fluffy dragon hauling Santa Claus over Scotland. And it will spit out a picture of a purple fluffy dragon hauling Santa Claus over Scotland. Um, and it knows all of these things because when they created the software, what they did was they just fed it, fed it, fed it, fed it, fed it. Tons and tons and tons of information. Okay. So that's how it learned what things were. So let's use uh I don't know, Asian people, okay? Asian women, for example. Say you wanted to teach the AI what an Asian woman is or what Asian women are. You would just feed it tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of pictures of Asian women in all shapes, sizes, uh, clothing, outfits, everything. You just keep feeding it all these images. And then when somebody calls up and says, I need a picture of an Asian woman standing on the street, you know, wearing a green dress. Okay. What it does then is it then kind of like, okay, I know what an Asian woman is supposed to look like, and I'm gonna draw one out like this. And it draws one out like that. And then it also knows what being standing in a street looks like because it's been fed images of city streets and people in city streets and stuff like that. So it knows how to place that person into a picture of a city street. So it generates a city street that isn't even may not even be an actual street unless you actually go in and say, I want them standing on Broadway in New York City, in Manhattan, and then it would, you've already taught it what Broadway and Manhattan was, but they don't even do it that way anymore. All they do now is it works kind of like the Google web crawler, that it's programmed to just go out and find images everywhere on the internet. And if it has keywords with the image, then it knows what that image is of. And so then it trains itself using that image. Okay. This is what a guy in a boat at the harbor looks like. And yeah, and that's the way when you go in and say, hey, I want this image, I want that image, it spits out an all original image of a guy in a boat at the harbor based off of all of the pictures that was fed into it to teach it what a guy in a boat in the harbor is supposed to look like. Oh, AI is amazing, Karen. Um, I there's a if you want to see what AI is like, and it can be dumb sometimes. There is a Twitch. If you go onto Twitch, twitch.tv, and look up Trump or Biden, just all one word, Trump or Biden, 2024, all one word. There is this like fake debate that's AI. It's all done by AI. There's no person there typing anything back or telling them what to say. It's learning from the people that are talking to it in Twitch chat. And so it's a Trump and a Biden standing at a podium, and it says AI Trump, AI Biden standing there. And you can ask it any stupid question you want, any stupid question you want in the Twitch chat. And eventually it'll get around and it'll answer your question. And these things will roast you like you wouldn't believe. And that has to be the dumbest question I think I've ever heard. I mean, they're nasty and but it's hilarious to having Trump and Biden both roasting you for something stupid that you asked them, and then they answered the stupid question you asked them anyway. And they remember you and the questions you've asked before. So if I was there 3 weeks ago and asked them a question about Metallica, and then tonight I ask them a question about like what do they think about the crisis in Ugalala Lululand, and I will actually type that and they will say it, and it's funny as hell. And and then they'll say, and let me tell you a thing or two about Metallica. And it's like, dude, I talked about that like 2 weeks ago. Yeah, twitch.tv. That's the website address. Like here, I'll even send the link to the Trump or Biden thing. But just beware, it is so hilariously funny and outlandish that I will end up spending hours with it just playing in the background. And every now and then I'll think of something really stupid to type in and I'll type it in there and I'll waiting for it to answer and say something. And you can just like laugh your ass off at it, trying to say like made up nonsense words like stuff like that. And if you type in like a bunch of O's and then a U and then an A's and then U's and A's, it'll sound like he's like completely like lost his mind. He'd be like, Let me find it. Twitch, Trump or Biden 2024. There it is. Yeah, that is hilarious. I spend sometimes hours in there on days that I don't have anything else to do. Even when I'm at work with uh, uh, at Stark, I've got a company phone that I do all my work for work on. So that's the phone I use all day at work. And I take my personal phone with me and I just keep that Trump or Biden thing on there. And it's just entertaining all day long. And it's all AI. And if you're ever in there watching and you see somebody named Old Guy Sucks at Games, uh, typing a question, that's me. I am Old Guy Sucks at Games. I don't really suck at games. I only halfway suck at games. But I think it's a pretty good shtick. So if I like, if I put my username as Old Guy Sucks at Games, people are going to come just to watch me suck at games and roast me. And then they're going to find out I'm actually, halfway pretty decent for, a 50-year-old guy that has never played Call of Duty before, uh, you know, 6 months ago. What, Hank? That just sounded so matter of factly like meow. But yeah, I need to start getting a Twitch stream going soon. I just got to figure out when to fit it into my otherwise impossibly busy schedule. And I kind of sort of have to answer to Paul when it comes to the driving thing. So it's not like I can just say, "Oh, I just don't feel like driving tonight. I'm going to stay home and stream." No, no. If there's a reasonable amount of ride requests going on in Tuscaloosa, Paul expects me to be out there doing it, and he will stay on me constantly. Like he will get up, like Saturday morning, he will get up, and I'm not a jump right out of bed, go right to work person. I'm a jump out of bed, sit down in my chair, and try to figure out what I'm doing with my life for the next 4 hours before I actually get up and do anything kind of guy. Um, I'm not gonna stream this on Twitch, Karen. I'm gonna actually do like Call of Duty gaming on Twitch. Um, I'm not gonna do diamond painting on Twitch. I'm gonna do Call of Duty, and I also play MLB The Show baseball. Um, 2024 version is coming out, I think next month or month after. It's already slated. It's already got a release date. In fact, you can already pre-order it, which I need to do that too. Um, and so I'll be playing those on Twitch. No, we've got those here, Karen, and they suck, and I want them gone. I want them gone. We've got these things in town here called Joyride, and they're college students on golf carts, and they don't have an app. They used to have an app, but the app never worked right. So they stopped using the app, and they just have a, a massive group me chat is what they have using the group me app. All the kids that wanted to be able to get joyrides join the group me app. And so these kids, college students that are one already distracted because their friends are getting, riding with them, and they see their friends on the side of the road and everything else, and they're busy hanging out with them. They're already distracted by that. And then on top of that, they have to drive this golf cart on the busy city streets on a busy night when there's tons of Ubers in town riding around trying to pick up and drop off at the same place these kids are. And these kids are gumming up all the pickup and drop off spaces because they're just parked there, sitting there in their damn golf cart and not riding anywhere. And then the ones that are riding down the road staring at their phone while they're trying to drive the golf cart and don't even know what's around them because they have to stare at their phone if they want to get rides because they have to be the first one to respond in this group me text chat of when somebody says somebody says, "Oh, I'm at like Ridgecrest East and I need picked up from there. I'm going to wherever." The first driver that types back "got it" is the one that goes and gets them. So while they're driving their ride wherever, they're having to sit there stare at their phone constantly, and they're oblivious to what's going on, and they go 10 miles an hour slower than all the other traffic in town. They're just in the way. There's too many of them. They're dangerous. It's I want them gone. Yeah, Mrs. Coffee, she still does YouTube, but she doesn't do her lives on YouTube anymore. She does her live streaming on Twitch. Um, she just found that it's part of it. I think a lot of it has to do with the income part of it. YouTube just takes a lot more off the top than Twitch does. Um, and there's so much more you can do on Twitch as far as like channel memberships and stuff. People subscribe to your channel and they can get special, a whole lot more special emojis and different things they can do and everything. So Twitch is just a little bit, it's a step up from Facebook. It really is. It for me, I think it works better for gaming than it does for anything else. But that's just me. I mean, but you can stream pretty much anything on Twitch. I mean, as long as it's like within certain moral standards, which they actually relaxed those moral standards for a while there right around Christmas time, and people were taking advantage of it. And then they said, "Nope, we made a mistake. Let's go back to putting some moral standards in place there of what you can actually do on camera." Because what you had was basically a bunch of mm, OF creators just streaming on Twitch, and they would they would be in the buff, but only suggestively, to where they were shot from just above the cleavage or just to the middle of the cleavage up, and that's all you would see of them. But they would, talk suggestively and do things like that to, and then you get hot tub streamers, which I'd never understood the idea of that. Just somebody in a bikini in a hot tub streaming live on Twitch. It doesn't make any sense. Well, the golf carts here have designated drivers. They're hired college students, and they're hired like an Uber, okay? So that they're 1099 contractors, and they get they get the fare plus tips, like I do for Uber. So it's basically just an Uber and golf carts is what it is, and but the drivers are all college students that are making extra money. And it's just messed up because they don't have an app. Like me, I go live in the app. I set the phone up on my phone holder on my dash. I tell it, go online. It goes online. Next thing you know, it pops up and it says 3-minute ride southwest, pick up here. And if there's a surge on it, it tells me how much the surge is. I click accept and I drive. And it starts GPS automatically. As soon as I click accept, it starts GPS navigating me to my location. Um, I get to the location, I pull up, it automatically tells the rider that, hey, Dave just arrived. Then it starts counting down a timer until they get in the car. And then once they get in the car and I swipe that I picked them up, there's like a little button there you can swipe to the right that you pick them up. At that point, that timer stops. But if that timer reaches a certain amount of time, it clock ticking down, it starts charging them wait time for every minute that they're, or actually every second that they're making me wait. It charges them wait time until they get in the car. And once it gets to a certain amount of time tick down and nobody shows up, then it tells me, hey, you can cancel this ride now. It won't be held against you, and you'll receive a fee, a cancel fee, for them not a no show fee. So yeah, I mean, and it does all of that automatically for me. All I got to do is tell it, you know, yes, I accept the ride. And I got to tell them, yes, I picked up and yes, I dropped off. Otherwise, it does everything for me. And that's the where there should be, so that those students aren't having to ride around driving with one hand and and holding the phone in the other while they're looking at the phone to try to be the one to say, I got the next ride. I got that ride. Hello, Bella the Beast. I tell you what, I have been sitting here eyeing this. I want to get some of this. I like it. It's really good. It's really hot. Like, it's really hot. Where's my little plastic knife? There it is. That's all it takes. Just that little bit. You'll light your world on fire. I still haven't tasted the maple. I taste the garlic. I taste the vinegar, and you get the overwhelming, pepper taste from, the hot peppers before the burn just kicks in. And it starts like right on the back of your tongue. And it comes up the sides of the tongue to the underside and the front. And then your lips start. Good stuff, though. It does have a great taste. I mean, it's a great flavored sauce, and I think it will be good on something. Matter of fact, I'll tell you what it is good on. I don't know why I always do that to myself. I go to Buc-ee's. I love Buc-ee's, and I love their little food counter there in the middle that you can go up there and they got the hot sandwiches that they just freshly chop it and put it up there for you. And I was torn the other night between the brisket and the pulled pork. And I like their pulled pork. I love it. Their brisket has an okay flavor. The only problem is the texture of the brisket. This stuff is cooked too super tender, and there is so much fat. That's why I really don't like brisket. Brisket is such a fatty piece of meat, and the big sandwich you get is like half of it is brisket fat, and ugh, um, it kind of just ruins it. I mean, I don't mind eating like fat off of a ribeye. If I'm eating a ribeye steak, the fat with the ribeye is perfect. But brisket fat is different and has a different taste and a different texture, and it should. Ugh. But I got some of that black garlic Carolina Reaper sauce there the other night on my way back from Huntsville, and I put that on the just a little bit, not much, just a little drop here, there, around the edge, and that was it. Didn't need a lot, and it spiced that sandwich right up. Oh, but I don't know why I always do that to myself. It's like I always end up getting the brisket thinking I'm going to get a sandwich with less fat, and I don't. I get a sandwich that's like half fat and half meat. The meat is almost like not even chewy. It's like, when you put jello in your mouth and it just melts. And yeah, that's what the brisket meat does. And so you get that along with the fat, and then all you get is like this goo sandwich. And it's like, ugh. Tastes good, but just, ugh. I hate that texture. So from now on, I'm just going to get the pulled pork and be happy with it. But then I'm going to feel like I'm missing out on something with the brisket. It's like every time I get the pulled pork and I leave and I wonder, man, I probably could have gotten a brisket sandwich that was all meat. Would have bought some beef jerky, but I've been having trouble with my dentures lately. I think I've got to get them relined. I've never had to use Fixodent on my top plate ever. But In the past couple of years, I've had maybe past 3 or 4 years now, I've had a new thing popping out of my gum up on the upper left. Um, what they say it is it's a shard of when they pulled all my teeth and they filed down the bone there to shape it, that they didn't get all of the debris out before they sewed it up. And this is a shard that is now working its way out. And I call it my new tooth because it's coming out of my gum like a tooth. It's just like a little sharp spot there. But it's changing the shape of my gums now. And now my upper denture doesn't fit anymore. And so it won't seal in. My bottom one never does. I mean, that's the issue with bottom dentures. The bottom plate's never going to just stay in by itself. You've got to glue that down. Unless you just like having that floating plate and things going up underneath of it when you're eating. And I just don't like that. That hurts. Yeah, Karen, it took mine. I had all my teeth pulled in 2008, and it was, I want to say it was right around 2020 when I started feeling that shard coming through, and I was like, wonder what that is. And I went and looked it up, and sure enough, that's what I found out just online was it happens. They just it took it 12 years to work its way. Actually, it took it 2008, 2018 to be 10. Yeah, 2020 would be 12 years. Yeah, it took it 12 years to work its way through. It actually is not painful, Karen. Um, it doesn't hurt. It's like you can't feel it like coming through like that way. Like it's not like hurting anything. It's just like all of a sudden there's a hard spot on your gum that wasn't there before, and you can feel something kind of protruding from it. And mine in particular is kind of a sharp little thing, but my dentures kind of help keep that worn down so it's not sharp. But I can still rub my tongue on it and wiggle it with my tongue and everything else. I just am afraid to grab it and pull because I don't know what all is still up inside there that I'd be trying to yank through my gums, and that just sounds like it would hurt. So yeah, I'm gonna have to go to a dentist and have him take a look at it. They say a dentist can get it out pretty easy, and then of course I have to have him reline the denture again, but that'd be after the gum heals again, which takes 6 months to a year for your gum to actually go back to the shape that it's going to be after you've had work done. Hello, Nana and Cat's Gallery. Yeah, Cat's Gallery. You know what? I thought about that. When they get that fragment out of there, I'm going to tell them I want to take it home with me. I'm going to put it under my pillow, and I hope Tooth Fairy brings me $1 million for it. Because it's got to be worth more than just a kid's baby tooth. I gave my kids like $1 a tooth for baby teeth when they came out. And I think that there being the fact that it, took 12 years to work its way out of the depths of my gums to come out on its own just naturally until it could be pulled out. I think that deserves more than just $1. That thing had a hell of a journey. It wasn't even supposed to be there. Yeah, that's right. Inflation. Yeah. Mm. Ooh, that stuff will open your sinuses. Even if you didn't know you had blocked sinuses, you'll find out you did when you put a little bit of that in your mouth. Ooh. Oh, that's awesome, Nana. My dad always wanted to pull he always wanted to tie a string around it and pull it, and I'd be like, I was always scared to death to have him do that. In fact, I remember my first tooth that came out. Um, he tied a piece of sewing thread to it and just wrapped the other end around his finger and just yanked. And I was more scared than anything, but it didn't hurt. But it was just the fear of that him getting ready to pull that just freaked me out. And so when the next tooth got loose, he kept saying, "Come on, I want to go ahead and pull it for you." I'm like, "No, no, no, it's not ready. It's not ready." I keep saying that until I finally just wiggled it free at school or something. 9 years old. I lost my first one, I think, at 7.5, because my dad was still alive and he died when I was 8. I turned 8 in August of 82, 81. Yeah, it'd been 81. No, it'd been 82. No, it'd been 81 because I was born in 73. So 8 would have been 81. I know I spent the summer of 83 down here in Alabama. And that was the first summer because that was the year I went to Talladega for the first time. Uh, and he died the February preceding that. So it'd been February of 83. But I thought I was 8 when he passed away because my 9th birthday was celebrated in Alabama in August. Wow. I don't know. It's a long time ago. But yeah, I was pretty young when my teeth started coming out. Yep. So yeah, go to Bucky's, pick up some of this if you have sinus problems. Guarantee you will not have sinus problems after just a little tiny bit on the tip of a plastic knife and just kind of and be done with it. Yep. You will not have sinus problems no more. And you probably won't have constipation problems the next day either. Yeah, I know, Karen. And I have the dates. I guess I don't know. I'm trying to do it off memory of what I remember at the time because I know I was young, but I know for my ninth birthday, my real mom and her husband got me a little league bat because I had a bat size that was smaller than everybody else when I was in little leagues. I was a tiny little shrimp in little league. Um, I was like the smallest guy in the whole team, probably in the whole league. And so I had a special size bat. They had to order special size pants for me to wear because they didn't even have any of the baseball pants in my size when I joined. And so for my birthday, my ninth birthday, I remember I spent that here in Alabama in Anniston, and we went to Oxford for my birthday dinner. We went to a hotel in Oxford that there was a restaurant in, and the hotel building is still there, but now it looks like they've turned it into like projects or something. Um, and I remember they gave me a brown paper bag with a birthday card, and in the bag was a batting helmet in my size for Little League, um, a new bat, and a new glove. No Buc-ee's in Ohio. Popeyes is coming to New Zealand. Wow. Y'all getting some Cajun chicken in New Zealand. There's not one in Ohio. I think, Karen, I want to say, I think if you can go south out of Ohio into Kentucky, or right there, I can't remember, but I'd swear there's one in Kentucky, or I don't know. Yeah, yeah, horseradish. Yeah, all you got to do is eat it and then just kind of breathe in through your nose while you're eating it. Yeah. um. Yeah, eat on a piece of rolled up roast beef. Do I have any brothers or sisters? Yes, I actually have three sisters, three half sisters. Um, what's the best way to put it without being ugly? Um, my mama weren't the most faithful woman in the world, and I ain't talking about the one that raised me, because that woman was faithful to the end. When my dad died in '83, she never, but yeah, she dated. I mean, she dated, like, she'd go out on a date, and there was one guy she saw more than a few times. We used to go to his church a lot, and we'd go to his house, and we'd have him and his kids over for our family meals and stuff, but that was only for a short period of time, and this guy he was a bore fest and a half. You went to his house, and he'd sit there and just sleep in his chair. My mom and I would sit there at his house, and I go, "Why are we at this guy's house? He's sleeping in the chair." Um, but yeah, it was, she was my real mom was, like, she wasn't the most faithful woman in the world. So, she married my dad, they had me, then she left my dad for his best friend and had a kid with him, and then she left him for his best friend, and she had 2 daughters with him, but not by him. Um, both daughters were by different men. Both of them were friends of his. Yeah, type of thing. And he didn't know until the children were adults that they weren't his. Bev, she a hoe. Okay, she is after the one that she had the 2 from, or 2 with. She left him for this truck driver. She got married. She was married for all of like a couple of weeks or 3 weeks or something, and they divorced. and she married his friend, who was her fifth husband. Yeah, fifth husband. He was about 5 years older than me. He lived in Dallas. He ended up dying of leukemia back in 2018. Um, and then she got back with the second husband, and she's now remarried to the second husband, which is also her sixth husband. So I have 3 half sisters, and none of them by the same guy. And we just share a common germination pod. And I really don't talk to my real mom anymore. There was a when see, her parents are the ones that adopted me and raised me. So I was raised by my grandparents. And, when mom died, my mom that raised me, when she died in 2018, um, I had lived with her for 10 years before moving to North Dakota. Helped her take care of things around there, all of that. When I left, my cousin, who's basically like a sister to me, moved in and took care of my sister was a CNA, so she was a live-in caretaker. And, the family paid her a little bit to, help her out there since she wasn't able to go work elsewhere. Um, and but uh, I knew all of mom's personal affairs, like finances, health insurance, or finances and life insurance, everything like that. And I knew she'd cashed in her life insurance policies like years earlier when, like, she just had it rough there for a while and financially, and she'd cashed out the cash value of her life insurance policies to be able to keep alive. And I knew that. Well, when we got the call that she passed away, I called my real mom. I was like, "Hey, I'm heading to Maryland. I'm driving over. I'm going to drive there." She goes, "Yeah, I'm getting ready to get off work. I'm going to head that way too. We'll meet up when we get there." I'm like, "Okay, no problem." And everything was cool. And then uh, I get a call from her the next day, and I'm almost in Maryland by this point from North Dakota. And I get a call from her and says, "Hey, look, I'm not gonna be able to make it there. I just can't afford to travel right there right now." And I'm like, "Oh, I'm sorry to hear that," and then she called me up and she says, "Oh, and by the way, being that Uncle Nat is the executor of the will, my uncle that my 2 cousins that were like sisters, well, this uncle lived there in town where we lived, and he was kinda like a father to me. Like, he was a father figure growing up. Him and my aunt babysat me for my mom all the time. If I wasn't at my house, I was there at theirs. Um, so she goes, "Well, he's the executor of the will," and which, by the way, Uncle Nat just passed away, like, 2 weeks ago. Um, but he's the executor of the will, so he has to pay some of the, uh, funeral costs. And what her original plan was, she goes, "Hey, we're just gonna have a small little graveside service for her, and then we're gonna go have drinks in her name, in her honor." And I'm like, "Well, 1, my mom never drank, so why would you think having drinks in her honor was gonna mean anything?" But yeah, sure, okay, we'll do that. And she goes, "We don't need a big expensive funeral or anything for her." And I'm like, "Yeah, probably true." Because all of her brothers and sisters were dead. Nobody was gonna come to the funeral. It wasn't probably 10 people at the whole funeral when we had it. Um, but she goes, "We'll just do that." And then she calls me back and says, "Oh, well, I'm not gonna make it." And she goes, "Did you know that your uncle is supposed to be paying part of the funeral expenses because he's the executor of the will?" And I'm like, "He isn't an executor." She goes, "Well, what did you mean by the he's the one taking care of her belongings?" I said, "That's exactly what I said. She doesn't have a will. He knows who gets what." And he knows what I'm supposed to take with me and what you were supposed to take with you and whatever. She says, "Well, I'm not coming up there." And I'm like, "Okay." So I get there, and then the aunt and uncle tell me, well, she called up here demanding that he pay the funeral expenses because he's the executor of the will, and there is no will. And he's not, even if he was the executor, he's not liable for any of it anyway. We're her kids. We pay it. So then I ended up having to plan a whole funeral, and my cousin put some in on the down payment that was needed, but otherwise the rest of the funeral bill fell on me. And I felt that was just kind of low down for the woman that my mom had actually given birth to not even show up and be a part of it and take on part of the responsibility, and left it to me, the adopted grandson, to actually cover all the costs, just because she found out that there was not going to be any health or any life insurance is what happened. She found out there was no life insurance policy, so there was nothing to collect on. She had no business to go there. Yeah, I mean, my family tree diagram is pretty normal, other than the fact that I was just adopted by my grandparents. And then, of course, my three sisters are all by different men who are not, well, one of them is actually by, I was going to say that I'm the only one that was actually conceived by the guy she was married to at the time, um, which may still actually be the case with Veronica. I don't know, because she may have not been divorced from my dad yet and been sleeping with Veronica's dad before and conceived Veronica before the divorce. I don't know, but that I'll never know. But yeah, for the most part, most of us were not conceived by the person she was with at the timing. I know I was, but I hate to blast her like that. But man, to me, it's still, I got no business for somebody that does that. Whether they gave birth to me or not. You know, you're gonna leave me stuck for a funeral bill for the woman that gave birth to you. Makes no damn sense to me. All because you had nothing to gain from it. Yep, they do. It's so true that people do show their true colors. And I didn't even do a huge, like I said, I think we had like 10 people, 10 or 15 people showed up for the funeral, because my mom was in her my mom and my grandparents. So, at that point in time, I'm 40, 40, 40, 40, let's see, 2018, 73 was 15, 73, 83, 93, 2003, 2013, and then 40, and then 2018, 45. Um, See, I was 45 when she passed, and she was exactly 2 months shy of her 90th birthday when she passed. And she was preceded by one, one, two, three brothers. And she only had one brother who was actually a stepbrother, which was my uncle that, kind of oversaw her finances and stuff. Um, that was her stepbrother, and she had her sister was still alive in Delaware. And her sister had always been worse off than she was. And my mom went before her. It didn't make any sense to me. But dementia does that. I'll be honest with you, Bev. Um, I still miss my mom. I miss being able to call her up and talk to her, and we're 5, 6 years down the road. But I wasn't heartbroken when she passed away. My cousin that called me and told me, she called and she's like, David, I'm like, yeah. And she just broke down in tears. She goes, Aunt Lydia's gone. I'm like, okay, Danielle, calm down. Just calm down. Okay. We knew this was coming. We've had several years to prepare for this. I mean, you never want it to happen, but it's going to. I kind of kept a level head about it, and I was like, we're going to get through this. Everything's going to be good. I know we're going to miss her, but you know, my missing her started the day that I called home and she didn't know who I was, and the day that I went back home for a week, and she kept asking my cousin, "How long is this man staying on our couch?" She didn't know who I was, and that was when I lost my mom, and I hate to say it that way, but luckily, the last conversation I'd had with her on the phone, she had a lucid day, and she knew who I was, and she talked to me, and we told each other we loved each other, and she said it back, and she was 100% lucid at that point, and then it was like a week later, she was gone. So I feel blessed that the last conversation I had with her, she did know who I was and everything. But I had already grieved her loss a year and a half before that when she didn't know who I was anymore. But yeah, I can understand where you're coming from. I mean, I don't know that I'm going to be very broken up about my real mom when she goes. I hate to say that about somebody. I really do, but just not going to be because she's just not a nice person. She likes to play nice to your face and then talk about you behind your back, or, you know, if you ain't got nothing to gain from you, she doesn't want nothing to do with you. But I do have like a good relationship with all three of my sisters. One of them just kind of comes in and out of touch, and you just never know when she's going to pop back up somewhere and go, "Hey, hey, I'm here now," and she's somewhere else in the country. That's the oldest sister. But the next oldest lives in Colorado Springs. She's had some ups and downs with different things, and um, she seems like she's on the right path now, and she's getting her life together, and she's in her late 30s now. So it's about that time anyway, and we're still friends on Facebook, and every now and then she'll respond to one of my posts. And I'm sure that if she really needed me for anything, she'd call. And if I needed her for anything, I'm sure I could call her, and we'd get through it somehow. But but yeah, and then I have a younger sister that lives in Texas. Um, don't hear much from her. We are still friends on Facebook. I mean, she did send me pictures of uh the new nephew when she had him. So we still talk, and when important things happen in life. But none of us were really raised with each other, except for the younger two. Um, they were raised together because they were both raised with the same quote unquote father, um, for a good chunk of their lives anyway. And then he kept the younger one, and my real mom took the older one and took her to Texas. but but none of us were really all raised together in the same household very much. So we have this distance thing. I think I'm closest with the 3rd, the next to youngest, the one in Colorado. I'm closest with her. Um, we always were we spent more time together than anybody as, teenager and adult. So, oh yeah, and it's sad when they're like that, Beb. I feel where you're coming from. In fact, I need to reach out to my sister in Colorado and see how she's doing. I mean, I can keep up with her on Facebook and I see all of her posts and stuff, but I need to call her, get her number. I'm sure she doesn't have the same number she had the last time I talked to her, but I loaned her a couple of $1,000 back in 2020, and I'm trying to decide whether or not I should just write that off as okay, I gave my sister some money because she needed some help in an emergency situation, or do I try to call and collect that? I mean, I don't right now necessarily need that money back at the moment. I probably could have needed it a year ago, year and a half ago, but and I kind of thought about it then, but she was in a really bad spot at that point still. So there was no way I was going to call her then. But I'm kind of debating on that one. What would y'all do if you were me in that situation? Because I'm sure that you know, if I pushed it and said, "Hey, I really need that money paid back," and I'm sure she would figure out a way to, make payments to me or something. But if I don't necessarily need it that bad, do I even worry about it and just say, "Hey, it was a gift to my sister," because I had it and she didn't, and she needed it, you know? Because at that time I did. I had just won that 150,000 in the lottery. So, oh yeah, there's a bunch of them. Yes, that's what I'm worried about. Cat's Gallery. I'm worried about offending her with that, and I shouldn't be. I mean, probably why I'm not very good at my own business because I'm far too lenient with people and I'm far too nice to people. Um, and in business, sometimes when it comes to your money, you kind of got to be an asshole. And I'm just not good at being an asshole to people. Mm. And that's exactly it, you know. That many people are because that's the way they are, and I get it. I totally get it. I mean, you don't get rich by just like, being loose with your money, unless you were just one of those people that lucked out back in the day when Apple stocks first hit, or when the tech stocks first hit, like Google and stuff like that, and you just became like an overnight billionaire because you just kind of threw money at something that you didn't know was going to work or whatever. And you became Forrest Gump rich. That's kind of what I call it, becoming Forrest Gump rich. You just accidentally hit the stock market. And I love hearing Forrest talk about it. He said, I invested money in this fruit company. And wouldn't you know, they sent me a great big check. I need to invest in a fruit company that sends me a great big check. That's what I need to do. I've got a little stock market thing I've been doing for years, but it just never really did anything. It's called Stash. And I think I've lost pretty much everything I've ever put in there. I'm no good at stocks. I don't know how to I don't know how to read that kind of stuff. I'm no good at investing in stock market. That's why I stay away from it. In fact, I wonder where I'm at on my stash. Just out of curiosity here. Wonder if I can even log into it on this phone. Because I haven't logged into it since I was on my old phone, I think. Oh, I don't need Shein. Why do I have Shein? I'm not buying women's clothing. Uh, Stash. Oh, use your fingerprint. Okay, I'm in. Oh, wow. Okay. My personal portfolio is actually up $37.01, but it currently only has negative $3 in it. Goes to show how good I am at the stock market, right? Um, my smart portfolio has $33.71 in it, and it's up $3.71 from where it started. So I had $30 in there. And my retirement portfolio has $6.03 in it, and it is up $2.03 from where it started. And my cash balance is 16 cents. I ain't even paper rich. Because I know nothing, nothing. That's why I put all of it into the smart portfolio, but the smart portfolio doesn't have any high gains. It's like there's small gains over a long period of time. So I do know that like it's like medium to low risk. But at that rate of gain, since I've had my stash, to give you an idea, I've had that stash app since 2017, and that's what I'm up to, you know? Yeah, but she ain't gonna tell people ahead of time who she's investing in. She just goes and does it. And the next thing you know, you find out she just hit it big on the stock market again and just has no clue how she does it. How does she get that lucky, huh? She doesn't know. She can't tell you. Well, all those politicians do it. Every one of them does. Doesn't matter which side the aisle they're on or not. They all, every single one of them are doing insider trading. I wish that I would have been paying attention during the GameStop fiasco because that made a lot of people very wealthy very quickly, and they were smart and got out of it with them. They took the money and ran. Maybe I need to find that Reddit group and see what they're up to next. You know, everyone in the government follows her investments. Yeah, but they're the only ones privy to it. That's it. I just need to get in the government. Okay. Throw my hat in the ring. Elect Dave, Senator of Alabama, 2024, 2026. I don't know. Is it 2026 when they do the Senate? I don't remember. Thought it was every 2 years. I don't even remember our election cycles. I know the president is every 4 years, but I can't remember senators. I think they're every 2 years, or is the House? It's every 2 years. I don't remember. They should do them all at the same damn time. Just get it over with. Why you got to do 2 years here and 4 years there and 2 years over here? And no, just put everybody on the same freaking cycle and get it over with. Good night, Cat's Gallery. Bev, actually, I doubt I could. That man has a laundry list of good things that he did that never got the light of day in the media. I mean, just miles and miles and miles of things he did that made life better on the American people that he never even got credit for. And it kind of sucks for him that he's just like this target for everyone's hate because he's such a brash individual. That's why. I mean, he's a very brash individual and he rubs people the wrong way. But as far as his list of accomplishments during the 4 years he was in, that he had quite a few that never got reported. But if he farted the wrong way, everybody heard about it. But he's probably a better hope for 2024 than what we currently have, because what we currently have is just a bumbling idiot that can't even walk up a flight of steps or ride a bicycle or form a complete sentence. Mm. Look at that. I think I got all of that color done while I was sitting here. Maybe I did. Maybe I didn't. Let me look over here. No, I did not. I've got some of them over here. Yep. That's as high along that row as I'm going right there. So that's perfect. See that? Wait, was that, did I put that on a question? I put that on a question mark. Okay, I'm a dumbass. I'm putting musical symbols and not question marks. Uh, that would have sucked because this is all question marks down through here. I'd have been just placing them down, just going, hey. I get on a roll and placing them in the wrong spot, and then you'd end up doing like a whole section and you got to pull back off because you put them all in the wrong spot. Oh, I hate that. That feeling you get when you realize it and you're like, oh no, when did I start doing that? How far back? All right, Bev. You finally started it. Have you actually done a DAC since then, or is it just the fact you've had that one sitting there for so long and you're just finally getting to it, but you've done other ones, you've bought and finished other ones since? Oh, that's really cool. I still have I've got 3 or 4 paintings hanging in the closet right now that were some of the very first ones I bought off AliExpress. Um, back in late 2018. So they're probably Drillmageddon kits because a couple of them are Hurricanes that I bought in 2018. Um, a couple of them are customs that I won in raffles in a Facebook group that no longer exists. Um, and they were during that period of time too, and pretty much everything from China at that point in time had drill problems through Drillmageddon. So, um, especially any of them that were supplied by the Huacan company, which at that time was the big name in diamond painting. Um, they were the DAC of their time, to be honest. Huacan was the biggest name in diamond painting in 2018. That's about the same time that DAC came about, and DAC quickly took the market over in the US side of things, which is what really Diamond Dots and DAC is what really got the ball rolling in the US when it came to diamond painting. And then we discovered, oh, you can buy a plethora of them from AliExpress, this AliExpress place. And yep, I remember all of that. And then during that period of time, 2018, late 2018, early 2019, every single kit you got from China had popping drills. Especially if it had a lot of 310 in it. I think it's kind of fun. I go in some of these like groups with that have like new diamond painters, like brand new people to the hobby, and they're asking a lot of questions and stuff, and it's like it's really interesting to pull back on knowledge from like 6 years ago now and be able to say, this is what I learned 6 years ago when I started doing this, and this is the way things were back then. What you see now, the modern landscape of diamond painting, is nothing like it was in 2018. It was just starting to become a big thing over here. Paint with Diamonds was on like I played a game on Facebook, and it wasn't even a game really. Um, it was just a time killer, kind of like the tap to color games they got now, but it was called Cross Stitch World, and it was basically diamond painting on your phone. I mean, if you really wanted to be 100% honest about it, and I used to sit and play that like all the time in my spare time, just sitting there doing images. And I Facebook started just sending me ads for Paint with Diamonds. I was seeing it like every time I scrolled through Facebook, like every other ad was Paint with Diamonds, Paint with Diamonds, Paint with Diamonds. And I was so half tempted to order from them, and I never did. But I went into Michael's on a whim one day. Um, can't remember what I went in looking for, but went in looking for something. Um, and it was in August, like late August of 2018. And they had all of their Halloween stuff at 50% off. And they had a couple of Halloween diamond painting kits from Diamond Dots. And one of them was this big, like 50 by 50 uh, skull on a black background with some like white lacy edging around the edge. And I'll never forget, I bought it. I brought it home and I started sorting the colors out. And then I was like, wait a minute, why do I got two whites that are different different designator number or things? And I almost mixed them. And I said, well, you better not. I better keep them separated. And, I did, and luckily I did because the second set of white ones were actually glow in the dark. That's what I need to do. One of these evenings when I get off of work, I need to clear this desk off and the other one and set a camera up, and I need to record a stash video. Because you know what? I guarantee if I do a stash video right now, I will find diamond paintings I forgot that I had in. Like, "Oh, yeah. That's right. I did buy this one." What was a lucky save? I must have missed it. I did it, and I must have missed it. Oh, not mixing the whites. Yeah, yeah, that was a lucky save. I mean, like, I had never done a diamond painting, so I didn't know anything about it, and I was just like, "Why do I have 2 sets of white that are the same shade of white?" But then I remembered that there actually are multiple shades of white, and women have, I don't know if it's different brain programming or a different rod and cone structure in their eyes that allow women to see many, many more different hues of the same colors, whereas men may only be able to see 5 different hues of blue or whatever. Women can actually see like 20 different hues of it. And that's why there's always that argument between men and women when they're trying to worry about painting the living room, and the woman is sitting there with like 5 cards and they all look white to the guy, and he's like, "Just pick one, they're all white." But she's sitting there going, "No, this one's pretty, that one's not so much. This one would match this," and the guy's sitting there looking at it going, "They're all white, just pick one." Well, not really, because she can see more shades than he can. And so that's kinda what I thought about in my head, and I was like, "There's probably just some slight difference in the shade here that I'm missing, so I better keep them apart." And I'm glad I did, because it would've looked kinda weird having just random glow in the dark drills here and there. I just put that one down right there, and there was another one right underneath of it, and I can't figure out where I put that one down at. I love when I do that. I'll just find another spot for it. Oh, there it was right there. One there, another one there. It's a little confetti heavy over here. But you know what? That's not bad because a lot of this is color blocking here and up through here. So having a little bit of confetti over here where the trees and stuff are isn't bad. I like a little bit of variety. Oh, do-do-do, do-do-do-do, do. All right. It is well past my usual quitting time tonight. But I just got started talking and didn't know when to shut up. So that's what happened on my very first live. I was only planning on going live for 2 hours on my very first live. I was just gonna say, "You know what? I'm gonna see what it's like. I'm gonna go live for 2 hours." And I went 3 without even realizing it. And then I said, "Well, next week." And next week, same thing happened. Went for 2 hours and ended up doing 3. But it was like it was so easy. Like tonight now, the chat's actually been kinda busy and all everybody's been kind of putting some input in, which has been good. And I like that. But those first few lives, and even all the way up through the whole time Amber was here, the chat was constantly going. And it was just like, I mean, we actually had trouble keeping up with 2 of us, actually 3 of us reading the chats. Um, there was just that many, but I don't know that I like it that busy, but at the same time, I kinda do. Helps me get that monetization back a little quicker. Um, and it's nice when you have a whole group of people talking to each other and to you, and it's just a whole big chat party for all of us. And I always let the chat just kind of dictate the flow of the whole live stream. That was kind of my whole structure when I started doing live was like I don't have something I can sit here and talk about for 2 straight hours, let alone 3, but the chat always has things to talk about. So we'll just talk about what they want to talk about. Oh, I know, I know. I know nobody's complaining. I listen to myself though, and I'm like, "Oh my god, do I ever shut up?" Especially after I've had an Adderall. Oh my god. Ooh. I will talk 500 miles a minute after an Adderall when I'm right there on the peak of it doing its thing, and it's just like I think I finished that color. And if not, oh well, I'll find them when I get down to the end. Won't I now? Stop. Slide. Slide down there. Slide. Slide. Come on. There you go. Oh. Oh, yes, that was actually the last color in that box. So I would actually have to get down on the floor and get the other 2 boxes that the cats have knocked off of the desk and to start the next color. Which let me see. Let me see. Oh. Oh, gosh, Hank. I know what time it is, buddy. Yep. there's the next one. All right. It is that time because I have got to get stuff ready for work tomorrow because I got to go back there tomorrow. I got to go back to killing bugs, y'all. It means I got to go back to getting up early in the morning. That's going to be tough. You get a week of being able to sleep in and, especially after going out and driving till 4 o'clock, not having to get up and go right back to work and to another job. Actually, about 17 more minutes, it is dinner time. So he always starts about 10:30. He's kind of got his time a little bit mixed up, but it's 10:43 right now, and he gets it at 11. But I usually kind of give it to him somewhere in between 10:30 and 11, especially in the nights I'm out driving because Paul ain't here. He's out driving, and I'm out driving too. So I just have to kind of like look at the clock and go, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and log off for a little bit and go home and feed them and take a little bit of a break and come back out. Or Paul will call and say, "Hey, I'm headed to the house. Do they need food?" Yeah, give them some. Hank's clock is actually pretty good. He's been that way since, I don't know. I had him. I guess it was about a month after I got him is when he really started like knowing the times. Like I would get up in the morning and I'd give him treats before I left for work. And then I'd come home at lunch every day and I'd give him some at lunchtime. And then I would come home from work at the end of the day, 4:30, 5 o'clock. I'd give him some more then. Just a little, 3 or 4. And then he got the wet food at 11. And I didn't even have to carry a clock around anymore then, especially on my days off. I just, he'd let me know when it was time for me to give it to him because he would be right on the money. Because I would always leave for work at like 6:45, and about 6:30 is when I'd give him the treats. And sure enough, right on the dot at 6:30, he's right in my face, going, "Okay, Dad, here, time. Come on, let's go." But now it's more of a general thing. It's more of a he knows it's about that time because I got kind of off the schedule ritual, thing because my job is just different and everything else. So he doesn't get the noon ones unless I'm able to make it by here at 12 if I happen to be in the area. But normally I'm not. So I'm normally down in the south part of town instead of up here in the middle central part. So he knows it's more of a general time now. It's like I get up in the morning and sometime during my morning routine, I get him some. And then it's in the evening when I get home. Doesn't matter what time. If I get home at 4:30, I give it to him. If I get home at 5:30, I give them to him then. So It's a general time now, and anywhere usually now between like 10:30 and 11 is when he gets his good food. So, on that note, I think I'm gonna get ready to hop off of here because I've got to get this covered back up, and I've got things I've got to do before I can be ready to go to work in the morning. So I will be seeing y'all again here next week. I don't know of any plans I have for next Sunday for nothing. And I don't plan on being sick again because I was just sick last week. So I don't think that's going to happen either. Um, so I should be here right on time next week. And maybe I can actually get the whole thing set up a lot earlier in the day so that there's a link everybody can see and have pop up on their feeds and everything else throughout the day so that maybe I get a lot more people in here next week. I doubt it, but you can hope. So yeah, you have a good I'm guessing it's probably morning for you right now over there. I've been kind of keeping up with listening. He hasn't hit the Cup Series. He's been running the Xfinity, so he's doing good. He's learning, and that's his whole thing this year. Is he needs the experience in on these circle tracks and these ovals and everything to where we're not constantly running road courses over here like he did there. So he's going through his learning curve right now, and he's not doing horrible. He was the first race of the year at Daytona, which is a whole new beast of its own because Daytona racing and Talladega racing are unlike racing at any other track on the circuit except now Atlanta. Atlanta, since the repave and the reconfiguration of Atlanta, they can now do the same thing there that they do at Talladega and Daytona. It's pack racing. And that's just something you're either good at or not good at, but you're eventually going to learn it to at least some degree so that you're not wrecking half the field every race. Um, and he did really well in pack racing for his first attempt at it. So, I think he's going to do really well here once he's got a season under his belt in these cars and he knows what he's doing with oval tracks and stuff. I think you're really going to see him come on next year and just do something big. All right. Well, you go ahead and get your dinner, Bev. I'm going to go ahead and get my midnight snack of a big giant slice of pizza from the pizza place here in town that I ordered today. And I'm going to give the cats their evening dinner time. And I've got to get a couple things done and then I can go to bed. And then I got to get up early, which is not going to be fun. But I will see y'all again next week on time, like I was this time. That was awesome. And until then, rock on, y'all. Roll Tide. Bev, no, I do not mind you asking about him at all. No, I enjoy my racing. I mean, I enjoy talking racing, football. I can even talk baseball some. So, you know, I like, yeah, I love my racing. I'm actually excited to see what he does. Oh, hey, Laurel. Sorry, I'm going off just as you're coming in. I was just clicking the end stream button and answering Bev something that popped up just as I did. So I'm sorry. I hope you have a good night. Thanks for coming. You'll be able to have the replay here in just a little bit. So y'all have a good night, and I'll see y'all next Sunday.